Hi, in continuation of our topic on constructors, now we are going to see the concept of constructors somewhat deeply. Now I am going to talk about types of constructors. There are two types of constructors, implicit constructors and explicit constructors. Implicit constructors are executed by JVM itself if there is no explicit constructor, and as you might have guessed, explicit constructors are written by the class creator himself. Class creator is the programmer who has written the class. And explicit constructors are of two types, with arguments and without arguments. They are also called parameterized constructors and non-parameterized constructors. Okay. Now I am going to show you an example whereby we will see how these constructors they work. Like, see, in this case what is happening is we people have got instance variables like RAM, speed, HDD, capacity, that is hard disk capacity, speed is of CPU. Then there is a constructor with three arguments, show data function, which is simply going to display the values of instance variables. And here in the function main, I am going to create an object of laptops class, name of which is LRFE1. So with the value 46360 is being passed. Similarly, in second object the value, three values are being passed. Now the values will go into the formal parameters, namely RAM1, speed1 and HDD capacity, and they will be subsequently assigned to the instance variables. You have seen this, how does it work in the previous lecture. Then lref.showData and lref2.showData are going to display the values. So let me execute the program. You can see the output. This is the output of the first object and this happens to be the output of the second object. So this was constructor with arguments, which has got three arguments. Now I am going to declare a third object with the name lref3. So I have written laptops lref3. Now always remember one thing, it is mandatory that a constructor should be executed for any object that is created, that is declared. What happens is when there is no constructor written by the class creator, that is programmer, in that case implicit constructor plays its role. But always remember, if there is an explicit constructor in the class, the role of implicit constructor is blocked. Now in this case what is happening is laptop lref3, it will go into the class and look for a matching constructor. That means a constructor with no arguments, because we are not passing any arguments like we passed in case of lref1 and lref2. It will go into the class and it will see that there is no matching constructor, and it will result into error message. So in this case implicit constructor is not going to work. Why? Because we have got an explicit constructor in the class with three arguments, or any number of arguments could be there. Now what is the solution? We will come up with the idea of having a default constructor. So this default constructor you can see is without any arguments. It is having an empty body. So when this object lref3 will be created, control will go into this constructor, which is called default constructor. It is doing nothing, but our error will be prevented. Error will not come and your program will execute successfully. So these are some things which are to be kept in mind, that execution of a constructor is mandatory. So in our previous examples, when we were not writing any explicit constructors, implicit constructors were playing their roles. Or if we people have got an explicit constructor, then implicit constructor will never get itself executed. That is why in case of lref3 we were supposed to have an empty constructor, which is called default constructor. It is having an empty body, even though we can write some statements over here if we want to have some default values over here. So now in the next lecture we will be saying constructor overloading. We have seen some glimpse of constructor overloading here also when there are more than one constructors. Anyways, we will see constructor overloading in the next lecture.